it was a table. Yes. I don't know which one was that. It was a table.
Can we settle in, please? Can we also speak to the guys, the people outside, so that they can come in, so that we can continue?
I don't think there's a Shina here, because I don't know if Shina is not here.
Are we all in? Can we speak to our colleagues who are outside so that they can come in, so that we can commence? Okay, while we're waiting for others and at the same time waiting for our consultant, perhaps I think, sometimes some of this training can, be a bit boring, but let me try and make it more interactive as possible. Now, I initially spoke about the objective of the web page of the Strategic Catchment Management Plan and the need for the integration of the micro catchment management plan. I'll give you a typical example. I don't know, is there any group or any project unit whose micro catchment plan or micro catchment plans are ready and already approved by the FPMU here? Which one? Taraba. Okay. Now, let me ask a question. For Taraba, do you know which strategic catchment management plan where your micro catchment management plans lie? You see, now it's becoming more interactive. You need to know. That is why we're supposed to have this web page, because in immediate, you're supposed to know where it is that your micro catchment lies. And the idea is that you do not do or make interventions or investments that are contrary to the investments planned by the SCMP. A typical example is, maybe once they get it ready, maybe I would display it. If, for instance, your soils have been classified within the SCMP where your microcatchment belongs, you will now check if it tallies with the classification of the soils within your microcatchment. And then you look at what are the plans of your microcatchment for that type of soil and relate it to the plans or the proposed interventions or recommendations for the SCMP. Thereby, if that is done, then you are able to add value. If the FPMU is doing a particular project, then you know what you should do to add value to that project so that the outcomes will be felt by the communities around that environment. Another typical example is, for instance, you want to do water storage. You want to do water storage. And that water storage is not necessarily a dam, but some kind of impoundment of water so that you are able to use it in the dry season, at the same time reduce the flooding scenario downstream, the runoff. And the question is, if you do not know the background geology, if you do the impoundment and you feel you're going to store the water, the next thing that happens is that you lose the water. And you're wondering, what has happened? That is because perhaps you did not take cognizance of the geological formation where that storage is sitting on. Because there are two things you may want to do. It is either you want that impoundment to recharge your aquifer further by reducing runoff. You recharge your aquifer, or the soil type or the geology is such that you'll be able to retain water so that you do not have flooding downstream. At the same time, you retain some amount of water, some volume of water to do that.
My name is Gideon Ojehomo. First of all, you have to check what is available on the web. Then also the reports. Then if none of that is included in the report, then you can go ahead and do whatever you want to do.
Is it making sense? Is it making sense? In other words, what it means is that for every micro-catchment plan, maybe there should be a window of what you may call monitoring and evaluation. And it's going to be a summary table where it will indicate the name of the officer, the date, the work that has been done, its outcome as of this date. Because we said that the idea is that this document is living. So anything you put in there, you have to put the name of the officer, the name of the intervention, and as of this date. Because, you know, it may be too complex. I don't know. For those who, do we have WebGIS experts here? Any WebGIS expert here? Nobody. Because I suspect that it's going to be a bit tricky to be able to do any form of review on the baseline itself as indicated today. But what I believe that will be most practicable is you go to your report. Either at the point of your report, you open another window and indicate what is being done at the moment and all the indices of what is being done at the moment. In other words, what is the volume of work done by by this date? I think this is what is most practical. Micro catchment or every strategic catchment must have a window of evaluation, monitoring and evaluation. This is what has been done, this is what has been done, this is what has been done. And most importantly is that you would need to, at each point in time, you know, try to compare what you have on the strategic catchment management plan with what you have in the micro catchment management plan. Maybe what we'll try to do is pick up one micro catchment management plan or delineation, right? And superimpose in a strategic catchment and see the location. Then when we see the location, we now compare what you have as recommendation in that strategic catchment management plan against what you have in the micro catchment management plan. This is what we're doing here, and this is the integration we're supposed to do. So before our people arrive, maybe this afternoon and tomorrow, we'll do that exercise, and then we see what it looks like, and we begin to see the gaps. And like I said, or like it has been said severally, it is not an end in itself. So we will be able to make or do a review of your own plans, your micro-catchment plans, so that it's able to fit in to the strategic catchment management plan. Because I'm well aware that those recommendations are quite similar. And we have broken down the report in such a way, put it side by side, the recommendations from the strategic catchment management plan. And then we'll also look at the recommendations from the micro catchment management plans. So if we have can we have the recommendations for the strategic catchment management plan for Oshinoi? Then I don't know if Kwara was here, they will also tell us their own and let us see if they have areas of conflict or otherwise. All right? Let me find out if Simeon is ready. Are we online? Are we online, please? Sorry? Yes. We're not online. Put us online now, yeah. It's from him?
Okay, propose intervention. Okay. Yeah, recommendation. No, we don't have the map.
So while we wait, can Martin, can you send in So this is exactly what we're trying to do. If assuming maybe Simeon will come up with that, but like we said, for Oshinoi catchment, right? Now, as it is already, Share is in the northern part. Now, if you look at the drainage pattern within the Oshinoi catchment, right, you will find that Share seems to be, we could call it the upper catchment, all right? And the peculiarities of the upper catchment is determined by the drainage system. So, what is the drainage system for the Share catchment in your micro catchment management plan? Your recommendations, your interventions that you have recommended, you need to put it side by side, the strategic catchment management plan, and see whether they are in unity, so that that way you don't work in cross purposes within that catchment. Because even everything within the catchment, the geology in the northern part of the catchment differs as it moves southwards. You always have variations. So the interventions within Share will most likely differ with the interventions in Asadam. And then you must also understand that some of these catchments are rural while others are urban. Therefore, their issues will differ significantly. And they need to now check and see how that works. So, can I have the map that shows us the different I wish there's the people from Kwara were here. It would have made more sense because it would have given us information. Kwara, Where's Sheriff? Did they go to pray or something? Kwara, are you here? Anyway, so we'll just describe a bit.
Saying he has a map that has their own strategic catchment in the micro.
Okay.
Maybe since they are here.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you. This Kwara since they are Kebi since they are here. Since Kwara is not here. Three strategic catchments here. Sokoto Zamfara, Gulbinka, and Malinda. Can I have your attention, please? Good. Now, Kebi. These are your what? Your activities within your micro catchments. These ones as well. Kebi State extends here. Interesting. So, here you have, first of all, let's start with, can you tell us, can somebody give him the mic? Can you tell us, what's the name of this catchment, micro catchment? What's the name of this micro catchment?
This consists of two micro catchments. This is Badaria catchment and this Kalugo catchment.
Okay. From your report, can you let us know what are your challenges within this catchment?
Until I look at the report.
Yeah, open it. That's the idea. Just go to the strategic, I'm sure you should have the strategic challenges and threats within the catchment. No, not now the strategic report. This is strategic. Your report.
On the micro.
Yes.
Yes, CMP, yes.
Threats, let me not use strategy. Threats and challenges. What are your threats and challenges? And then we will check the threats and challenges of Sokoto Zamparako. Now let me even start with the threats and challenges of Sokoto Zampara. Oh yeah. Read it out for us.
Okay. For Sokoto Zamfara, the key issues we have here under the environmental challenges, we have water scarcity,
land degradation, and climate change. For water scarcity, we have it in the Goronyo and the Bacolori dams have altered natural river flows. And we also have some large areas of farmland in Sokoto and Zamfara states are affected by soil erosion and reducing crop yields. Under the socio-economic challenges, we have high poverty rates, unemployment, insecurity. Then under the institutional challenges, we have fragmented governance, weak enforcement, capacity gaps. And then technical challenges, we have outdated infrastructure, limited data and monitoring, climate resilience. These are the mainly key issues we have within the Sokoto Zamfara catchment.
Let us know when you're ready, Okebi.
Yes.
Now, from our strategic catchment management plan report, these catchments, these your micro catchments, these micro catchments here, they are in the lower catchment of the entire strategic catchment. So you know what that means. In other words, the flow starts from the northeast and flows westwards. And these catchments are in the lower part of the catchment, or part of the strategic catchment. So we want to know now, what are your threats and challenges, and what are your plans? Now, in the lower catchment, we have Ariwa, we have Dandi, we have Bunza Suru, we have Kalgo, we have Meyama, we have Jega, we have Aleiro, we have Argungu, we have Berninkebi. Are we correct? So, let's hear from you.
Okay, based on the report, and these are the challenges that we have. We have floods, we have deforestation, we have low access to safe water supply, we have insufficient personnel and inadequate institutional framework to the facility irrigation development. Poor waste management practice, shortage of water supply, etc., etc.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. I called a few towns, right? Now, Ariwa, Dandi, Bunza, Suru, Kalgo, Meyama, Jega, Aliero, Argungu, Berninkebi. Do you have flooding of farmlands there? Good. Tambuwal, Kebe, Toreta, Shagari, Yabo, Dange, Shuni, Gumi, and Bundiga. Dry season water scarcity, unreliable irrigation water. Silame, Ogi, Gudu, Binji, Tangaza, Goronyo, Raba, Wurno, land degradation and desert encroachment. Wamako, Sokoto North, Sokoto South, Kware, urban flooding, poor drainage. Is it aligning with microcatchment? This is what we're talking about. You can see that the issues within the microcatchment have aligned with the issues within the strategic catchment. So let us go to your proposed intervention. Let us hear your proposed intervention. Don't forget that we are talking about the lower drainage basin. That's the lower catchment of the Sokoto Zamfara strategic catchment, this area. And you have how many micro catchments here? 7. No, here. It's more than 2 now. Okay, there are 5 micro catchments here. Let's see your proposed interventions. Go to your report and check your proposed interventions. Your microphone. Is it on?
Yes, it's working. We have erosion control, bioengineering by planting of trees, flood control, agroforestry, river embankment protection, shelter bed, provision of solar power borehole, enlightenment and provision for rainwater access to the household, promoting irrigations among the CIGs, formation of youth CIG groups, provision of alternative support to sand miners in the area. CRF, and we also have promote climate smart agricultural practice, provision of farm products, provision of farm produce processing centers, solar pumping, and the raising of awareness of the best way to conserve water and soil, treatment of water for trace elements, provision of waste bin for refuse collection, provision of household and public toilets, training and enlightenment campaign on the soil waste management.
Okay, let's stop there. Now, let's go to the strategic catchment management plan proposed interventions. River training, embankment construction, floodplain zoning, rehabilitation of small dams, installation of solar pumps and drilling of additional boreholes, shelter belt development, community afforestation programs, stormwater drainage system upgrades, urban flood early warning. We have never met before. This is science, almost the same. Yes. This is the idea behind the web page. So that at each point in time, you want to see if you're in line with what the federal government wants to do. So that you can work in harmony. Don't forget, I don't know if this is the forum for me to say this, but for there to be interventions, I don't know at the state level what it should be, but I presume that it is the same structure and template that should go down to the state levels. For there to be sustainable intervention, there has to be Catchment Management Technical Committee. And the Catchment Management Technical Committee will be encompassed with members from the state project units. That way, at each point in time, when there is a need for some kind of intervention or investment, there will be agreement on what is to be done, and there will be agreement on what has been done, and then what are the gaps, so that there can be some kind of intervention to bring it to life sooner rather than later. This is what we're trying to do. So if we're able to establish the page, and your report is in that page as well, then before any intervention or implementation should come, then there'll be a need to do what? Check, so that we're sure that we're in tandem with one another. So this is a typical example. Maybe we'll take another one. If we go to, let's say, we should go to Melinda. All right, let's open Melinda and see. Just hold on so that we can get the strategic catchment report from Melinda.
I think it would be advisable if you can use Gobrinka, because Melinda is small part of the.
Okay, let's
part
look
of
for
the
Gobinka. Fine. How many micro catchments do you have in Gobinka?
2. We have Zuru Rikoto Dam, and we have Tunga Biniga.
You can start reading out the
So
threats and
I've
challenges for us.
Okay. Okay, sir. For Zuru Rikoto, so we have soil erosion,
Go ahead.
we have a citation of dam, we have low soil productivities and fertility, we have forest fragmentation, floods, degradation of river banks, and riparian land vegetation loss. Okay. Informal irrigations along the edge of the rivers and wetland, low access to safe water supply, insufficient personnel, and inadequate.
Poor soil fertility affecting productivity, uncontrolled artisanal mining, degrading lands, overfishing in river systems, seasonal food insecurity, riverbank erosion, threatening settlements, and waterborne diseases outbreak during floods. Does that, then let's hear what your proposed interventions are.
Hello? Erosion control, bioengineering, debt palm, afforestation, dam dredging, provision of 20 solar power borehole, enlightenment and provision of rainwater affairs, support to livelihood, provision of waste bin for refuse collection. Okay. Environmental education and provide access to information. Provide training on gender equality, women rights, and non-discriminatory practice for the various community members. Provision of provision of household and public toilets. Construction of a composting pit for the CIG on waste. Provision of solar street lights, provision of solar street lights, drainage clearance. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much. So I noticed that it seems it's quite an urban microcatchment. Is it? Okay, because your interventions are such that align with an urban catchment. However, this is the strategic catchment proposed intervention for the entire Gobinka. Construction of embankments due to community rather than later before you run out of funds. So this is an example of what we're trying to do. If we have another state here that has data, Kwara, do you have your data? Have you plotted your micro catchment in the strategic catchment? Okay. Do we have that? We were able to put, even if it's one micro catchment. Okay, we were discussing it earlier. So why don't we change it? Change it. Can we change to the initial map that was there so that we can discuss Kwara? Okay, so now we have Kwara on the board. Sorry, we have Oshinoi catchment on the board, and Kwara is more prominent in this catchment. And in that catchment, we can see Share, Lata, and Asadam. So what we're trying to do, like we said earlier, is to see what you have in your report as threats and challenges, and then we'll now see what we have in our report as threats and challenges for that strategic catchment management plan to see if there is synergy or alignment with the micro catchments. So let's start first of all. Let's see Shari. Let's hear, can somebody give him the microphone? Let's start with Shari.
Okay.
I don't know if you have some of the towns in Shari. Okay. Go on.
All right. In Share catchment, we have Share town itself. We have Sharagi. Then we have some part of Ifelodun, which are very, very small hamlets. So those are the major places we have in the Share catchment.
Okay, can we have your key challenges?
Okay, the key challenges in this area is open dump sites, then water pollution risk, agricultural waste accumulation, then lack of recycling infrastructure. These are the key challenges we have in Share catchment.
Is Share an urban catchment or rural?
Partly rural, mostly rural, but Share town itself is urban.
Okay. So, is Yaba West in Share?
What?
Yaba West.
Yaba?
Yeah.
No.
Ifelodun.
Yagba West.
Yes.
Yes, is in Ifelodun, but it's peering border with Kogi State.
Good. Because you know, strategic doesn't have state boundary.
State boundary, yes, you're right.
You have Ilorin East, Ilorin West,
Yes, some
and
part
Asa.
of it. Yes, we have that. We have that in Asa catchments.
Do you have Moro and Kayama?
No. No. We just have some part of Kayama in Asa catchments, but
Okay.
yes, Moro is in Asa catchments.
Do you have Magama?
Bogu.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
peering border with Bogu. That's presently Niger, before Kwara.
Yeah, that's around Kontagora.
Yes.
All right. Okay. You know that, like we said, for instance, you're talking about the micro, but what we have now here is, of course, for the macro. And the key challenges we have around, because what I just reeled out to you is the towns that are within the middle catchment. The towns are, because this is the boundary, the red line is the boundary of Oshinoi strategic catchment. So Share, in fact, many of them are lying around the middle catchment. So the towns I just called for you now are the towns lying around the middle catchment of the entire strategic catchment. And some of the issues we have around there are soil erosion and declining soil fertility on undulating lands, rapid urban expansion causing surface runoff and flooding, deforestation from fuel wood extraction and farmland expansion, riverbank erosion affecting farms and fishing activities, farmer-header conflict over land and water resources, severe soil erosion and gully formation on steep slopes, deforestation, I've gone into the upper. So around the middle catchment, these are some of those challenges. So let's hear some of your proposed interventions for that area.
Okay, proposed intervention is adopt agroforestry methods, restore area that have been deforested, managing overgrazing through rotational grazing, mainly land utilization and restoration. Then pollution of water resources, the proposed intervention is to moderate it. Then we need to increase in our infrastructure in that area because we have highly insufficient infrastructure both in Share and some rural settlements. Then poverty restricted and income opportunity. The moment we have infrastructure in that area, I think they should be more productive. So these are the main things. Then we control the grazing from the farmers so that we'll have, from the herdsmen, so that we can reduce the farmer-herdsmen conflicts. Then seasonal water storage. We have to help them in water harvesting and irrigation process so that they can farm all season.
Okay, so some of the proposed interventions for the strategic catchment management plan are as follows: contour farming, agroforestry, soil fertility enhancement, urban drainage improvement, land use planning and enforcement, community woodlots, alternative energy promotion, riverbank stabilization, riparian buffer restoration, grazing corridor demarcation, conflict resolution platforms. So you can see that there is alignment in the last one, right? So in deciding what implementation or intervention that should come from the federal government, you would have to consider that you have proposed with this, and then we'll pick something in between based on what will be available on the web page. So this is the idea. This is the idea, and it makes life simple for everybody. And like I said, what was displayed for us this morning can be of each of the strategic catchment management plans. However, when it comes to reviewing or upscaling information or data, there may be need to structure some kind of a table that should be one of the windows for each maybe micro catchment management plan report. You put it there, the things you are doing and the dates and the outcomes so far. So this is a typical example of that. So we'll now go to, I think we were able to also do something for Lokoja Niger, right? Let's open Lokoja Niger. We have Kogi people here. Lokoja Niger. Lokoja Niger. Maybe you need to send it to them. So that we can discuss that too. So those that have not been able to plot their catchments in the strategic catchment management plan are supposed to do so. Because that's the only way you can begin to consider the alignment. Yes, because that's the integration we're talking about. If you have not plotted your micro catchments in the strategic catchment, then you're not quite ready for this training. But the good thing is that it can be done here. And when it is done here, it will be uploaded immediately. And like was promised, our consultant says he's going to share the link for the web page today. We're not hearing from them now because they're getting ready to go to the airport perhaps, because they are leaving tonight or this morning by their time to arrive tomorrow afternoon in Abuja and continue to Jos by evening. So the idea is let's look for someone there. Which one is Ogugu? Yeah. Are you sure? Okay, let's, for example, let's pick Ida River Ofu micro catchment. Let's hear, can somebody give him the microphone, please?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. First of all, can we hear about the towns that are within that Ida River Ofu? Seems we have Simon back now. So when I'm done now, we would invite him. Go ahead. Some of the towns within that catchment, that is this one. In our report, it is situated at the lower catchment boundaries of the strategic catchment management plan.
I think within the catchment, we have a community named Hida. We have a community named Hida. We have a community named Inachalo. And we have Ajaka. Also, we have part of the catchment. We have, I think, Ufurachi. That one is towards Igalamela local government. So I think that's what I can remember for now.
Okay. Now, in comparison, to show you the difference and the scale of this lower catchment, the lower catchment of this strategic catchment goes as far as this location. This is like the boundary of the entire lower catchment. And incidentally, by our own report, you have the following towns: Ida, Ibaji, Igalamela, Odolu, Anambra West, Anambra East, Anyamelum, Lokoja, Oshimili South, Onisha North.
Are you talking about the whole strategic, right?
Yes.
Okay,
now.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, I know you're worried. I'm just telling you, see how
I
interesting it is.
understand.
Yes. Yes. Because what is happening is that, and it's not even the entire strategic catchment, it is only the lower
catchment.
boundary, just
Okay.
here. It extends as far as Delta State, Anambra State. In fact, most of the towns within that catchment are in southern Nigeria. Yes. So you have Ezago, Oka North, Oka South, Dunukofia, Oyi, Orumba North, Oji River. These are some of the towns there. Now, let us see your challenges, threats and challenges. Because what's happening is that your Ida River or full microcatchment is within that entire lower lower catchment of the Lokoja Niger strategic catchment. Why are we doing this exercise? The idea is this. When the Catchment Management Technical Committee sits together, this is what they will need to harmonize and agree on, at the end of the day, what is going to be done from the federal government point of view. Because we are well aware that the state governments are already doing interventions, but the federal government is beginning to start their own intervention. And they will need to sit down, of which people from the states that encompass the strategic catchment will be members of that Catchment Management Technical Committee to decide amongst the several proposed interventions of what to do, considering what you are already doing, so that there is no waste of resources, and then we are able to achieve much more than has been achieved. So let's hear from you, Kogi.
You're asking about the challenges within
Yes.
FIDA. Just give me a few minutes.
If you can't find your challenges, okay, can you find your proposed interventions? Whichever, so that we just compare.
So the challenge is
Mike, are you there?
yes, sir.
Go ahead.
The pressing challenges we have in the catchment, we have flooding,
Mm-hmm.
we have land degradation,
Mm-hmm.
we have poor infrastructure, we have water scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the major challenges we have in the catchment, sir.
Okay, you have flooding and
Flooding
riverbank
issue.
erosion.
Yes, sir.
You have deforestation and land degradation.
Degradation, yes, sir.
You have water quality deterioration.
Yes.
You have seasonal water scarcity.
Yes.
You have unsustainable farming and soil erosion. You have
Yes.
overfishing and declining fisheries.
Yes.
You have unregulated mining, sand, laterite, clay. You have poor waste management, air pollution, and biomass dependence.
Yes, sir.
You have low institutional and governance capacity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, let me relate it to some of the proposed, let me relate it to some of the specific challenges for the Oshinoyi lower catchment. All right? We have seasonal flooding, riverbank erosion, and the displacement of riverine communities. All right? We have urban flooding, drainage blockage, and solid waste in waterways. We have deforestation, bush burning, and watershed degradation. We have poor sanitation, surface water pollution, open defecation, and waste dumping in streams. We have agricultural pressure on wetlands and riverbanks, over farming and fishing related degradation. They are aligning, aren't they?
Yes, sir. They are aligning.
All right. Give us your proposed intervention.
Intervention. We have gully erosion control.
Your microphone, please. Are you there?
Almost, sir.
Go to your strategic goals. Go to your strategic goals.
Okay. Okay. Flood and erosion risk reduction. Protect and restore forest. Okay. Strategic direction, right? This one. So, we have restore degraded farmland and control erosion through soil conservation, afforestation, agroforestry, and climate smart agriculture practice.
Good.
We have enhanced water security by implementing small-scale dams, boreholes, rainwater harvesting system, and groundwater recharge structures. while safeguarding rivers, streams, and aquifers from pollution and overexploitation. We have mitigate flooding and riverbank erosion through embankment, bioengineering, floodplain zoning, and early warning system, safeguarding lives,
I
infrastructure,
think that's
and
okay. Let me just read some of the proposed intervention for the lower boundaries of the strategic catchment management plan for Lokoja Niger. River dikes, dredging, embankments, floodplain zoning, riparian revegetation, drainage upgrades, urban waste management systems, stormwater channels, community woodlots, reforestation, controlled grazing and anti-burning bylaws, sanitation infrastructure, water treatment units, hygiene campaigns, waste collection systems, buffer enforcement, agroforestry, agriculture zones, and community land use bylaws. You can see what we're talking about. They align. You see what we're talking about. This is why you guys need to be ready. By now, the expectation is that the micro catchment delegates are supposed to have plotted their micro catchments in the strategic catchment plan. By so doing, when you have done that, when we're talking, you will see that the whole thing will align. And note that the idea of our consultant training us is that those micro catchments have to be plotted into the strategic catchments so that it is uploaded in the web page. And when that is uploaded, the micro catchment report will also be uploaded so that the moment you click that micro catchment, it will give you an option to go to the report. So you can see the report, see the challenges, and see the proposed interventions. Then go to the strategic, see the challenges, and see the proposed intervention. We're at the time of alignment. The idea of the CMTC, the Catchment Management Technical Committee, is to align for intervention. And for you to align for intervention, you must have a hands-on knowledge. The members of the CMTC must have a hands-on knowledge of what their report says, so that when you bring it up, you will have a stronger argument when you have done your alignment and you see areas of relationship. That way, you will be able to make, a strong position for the intervention or investment on implementation as the need may arise from the FPMU. So this is the whole idea. I think I've been able to enlighten people as much as possible, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is the whole idea of this exercise. And the main thing is that there must be a team, I hope people can do it, that will be able to update or upload new information, because as it is now, any plan that has been approved by the FPMU is approved. Any new information will be termed as new information and updated on the web page. And that is the idea. Abby, are we okay? I beg a round of applause for you guys. Now let's see whether we can go back to our team in Kenya and see whether they are there, so that he will now continue. He will round up for the day, because I'm sure they will be preparing to get to the airport by now. So let's see whether we can get them on. At least with this understanding, we can now proceed.
Can hear you.
Okay, please proceed.
I guess you can see my screen. Really, the idea we have, like for instance, I've added just a few. So if you look at this, for instance, you can see within the main strategic catchment, like Ocean Oi, we would want to get, you see, these micro catchments. We can do it together. We can upload it together for the training. But we also think about for the interventions and those things. We can standardize, or we can create a template, probably in XLS or Excel. We can have a harmonized template of which all the micro catchments, it can be used for uploading data, because when you're uploading data, you need to standardize the structure. So I guess as part of the training, we are going to brainstorm and see how best to do such data collection templates. But overall, I think you've explained the idea adequately. Thank you. Probably, I don't know, David, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Maybe I would invite David to give a few remarks with regard to the web application, and then I can hand back to you for closing as we prepare to travel.
IT, please, this is your network, or you have to do something about it. We can't continue having this on and off.
Data sets that are available, the quality of the data, and then
Simeon, are you
also,
there?
am I audible in the first place?
Yes, you are.
Good.
Proceed. Sorry, we lost you for a while.
Okay. And since our project is about the catchment management plan, we also needed to have other data sets, other background or baseline data sets to support this initiative. Like, for example, data on altitude, data on climate, data on land use. And since we don't need to reinvent the wheel, we are getting some of these data sets from already published services. Like, for example, we have sourced land use data from Digital Earth Africa, and altitude from STRM, I think it's USGS. And climate from WorldClim. And we have brought those services. We have consumed those services from those providers and put them together in this web GIS platform. And on top of that, now we have brought in our catchment, strategic catchment data, and build it on top. That is why in the dashboard you've seen even conflicts, you've seen geology, and many other layers or thematic layers that have been shown there. Some of them we got them from those authoritative sources, not by downloading, but pointing to their servers. and consuming them through the standard OGC, Open Geospatial Protocol services. For example, WMS and WFS. In the morning also, I heard one of the participants commented on drone data. We know drone data is it can be quite heavy in terms of storage, but we've not had it. But the platform can handle it, because what we'll do is we'll make a mosaic and then optimize it to cloud optimized GeoTIFF to save on space, but also not on the quality of the data, and then publish it, and then we can see it overlaid on the map. And so just on the architecture part, this dashboard that you're seeing, what is it? What are its building blocks? There is a database at the back. There is a map server, and there is also a web server as well. And the services that we've done, we've worked on ArcGIS platform. There's also an equivalent solution based on open source if ArcGIS is not available, or maybe client dictates otherwise. But the thing is, whether you're on whatever platform, open source or in ArcGIS here, whether you're on open source or on ArcGIS suite, it doesn't matter, because all of them, they implement what you've talked about, the standards. So either way, there can be communication from either of the two platforms, regardless of whether they are open source or proprietary. And a part of the journey that I think Kiprop or Simeon will mention is about the data. Downloading data, yes, that will be available. For example, now the platform allows you to download the catchment reports. As we go along, we are going to add the feature to enable users to download CSVs, GeoJSON, KML, or even downloading the TIFFs. And I think also this discussion will go on after we'll add there, and we discuss more about it and go into depth, and also do it practically, so that the story now flows very well. Thank you. Back to Simeon.
Oh, yes. As you've heard, this is a collaboration, and I presume when we interact, when we come to the ground and interact, I think we'll be able to come up with a lot of things. One of the major things I would want to see at the end of the training would be, especially for the micro catchments, we need to develop a template, even if it is an Excel CSV file, of which we can use it as a standard for each of the micro catchment. If you are capturing projects or interventions, we have a standard Excel, so that it is easy for everyone to upload. So we use the same standard to be uploading data on the platform. So I think with that, I will hand back to the host, so that so that we can close the meeting for today. Thank you. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Simeon and Mr. David. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So any other remarks, or probably you can guide us, because I feel like at least the day has been good.
Okay, do we have any other comments or suggestions we can do or need to implement from anyone? Well, it's like everyone is already tired.
So and I don't know whether there are any more remarks. What we can do is do a bit of configuration and share the link,
Yes,
so that you can explore further.
I think, Simeon, what we'll do.
Yes, probably within our, right?
Can you hear me, Simeon?
Yes, I can hear you.
You do us the favor of dropping the link today. In your absence tomorrow, what we'll try to do is just sit together, interact, and then for those who have not been able to plot their micro catchments inside the strategic, they will now do that. We'll interact and see whether it's possible to even come up with some structural templates for instance, there should be a window where each micro catchment threats and challenges and its recommended interventions versus threats and challenges and recommended interventions of the strategic. So tomorrow we'll try and do that exercise and see how far it goes while we wait for you to arrive so that you continue your training. Is that in order?
That is in order.
All right. So without much ado, I think we thank you very much. I know you guys are getting ready to get to the airport. So at this point, I think we can let you go, hoping you don't forget anything. However, please do send the link to us so that we're playing with it before you come. Thanks once again. Okay. And then David, thank you very much. And we wish you guys a safe journey to Abuja. Have you been to Abuja before?
No. I've never been. This would be the first time in Nigeria.
Okay, you're most welcome. Yes. All right then.
Thank you.
Please just send us a message when you are about to leave so that we're sure.
Yes.
And then we'll take it from there. All right? I'll talk to you privately on your phone before you leave so that I can let you know what you need to know. All right? So send us the link as soon as possible. Thank you very much. We can continue here locally.
Okay.
Thank you, David, as well. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Safe journey. So,
thank you.
I think we're becoming more pragmatic now. We're becoming more pragmatic. I knew that in the beginning, GIS, if you are not familiar with an application, you can sleep when somebody is talking. It will take some time. But we needed to interact in this manner so that you begin to see the pragmatic need for this exercise. So if you are able to do this, please, for all the state units, it's important that you go and plot your shape files into the strategic catchment so that it begins to make meaning to you. And if he drops the link for the web page, you will see many people who are asking for the strategic catchment management plan report. It is already there. So you go there, you click it, go to the area where you are interested in, the threats within the strategic catchment, and also the proposed interventions, and you begin to compare with what you have in your report. However, do note that the only micro catchments that will be uploaded on the web page are those that have been approved by the FPMU, not those that are still working. Hopefully, maybe some people may be able to grab it so that in future, those other ones now can be uploaded for at least the same purpose. So with that, we'd like to ask now, let's have comments. Let's interact before lunch. Let's have some comments, some questions. Anybody? Comments, questions, comments, questions, comments, questions. Should I ask if you're not going to ask? I should ask. How many states have gotten their micro catchment reports approved? Show of hands. Can we have those states, please? Yes, Kebbi. Kebbi says it's approved. Taraba is approved. Kogi approved. Kwara approved. Adamawa approved. Sorry? Katsina approved. Nasarawa approved. Gombe approved. Then Kano approved. Sorry? Niger approved. Kaduna approved. Are they up to 10? Almost all the states. But I just had only the states I had now are not up to 10 now. They're not up to 10. Let me call it now. Let me call it Kano, Kebbi, Niger, Gombe, Katsina, Kogi, Taraba, Kwara, and no, I've called Kogeri. That's 8. Huh? Benue 9. Adamawa 10. I've been calling. You perhaps didn't say anything. Only one. So. Okay. So hold on. They are incomplete. FCT only one catchment. Yobe. That's 13. So what you need to do, any micro catchment that has been approved, please go back and plot it into the strategic catchment delineation. If you don't have the strategic catchment delineation, FPMU GIS expert is here, Sylvester. Please go to him, collect the shape files, and plot it before Wednesday's exercise, or we can do that tomorrow while we are waiting for our web GIS expert. Is that agreed? So that's what we're going to do tomorrow, cool? All right, so any further comments while we wait for our lunch? And then we'll close up. Any further comments? Has today's training been interactive enough? Do we have a sound background of why we are here? So we expect better participation tomorrow. Better participation tomorrow. All right? And I also asked, so nobody can challenge our WebGIS expert. No other WebGIS expert here. So which means tomorrow, when they come, you have to be very attentive. You have to be very attentive. If not, you will miss out. It's just a few days. Okay? So that is it. So please, with that, any other comment? Yes, sir.
Sir, my own is a question, sir. My own is a question, sir. You see, at the beginning of this project, sir, almost all the states were asked to develop their various websites. So I don't know, this web GIS, is it going to be integrated to our own website that we already developed at the state level? That's the question I have, sir. Thank you.
Okay, well, you see, the thing is this. There's the big difference between a website and a WebGIS. Because your website is not as interactive as a WebGIS page. This is meant to be interactive. You can see on your website, will you be able to click a strategic catchment for states to have their own WebGIS page? Is very, very important. Because if you go to your chief executives, it's just to open up the place, sir, this is what we're doing. These people know what they are doing. And then you say, okay, these are the gaps. If this department or this agency is doing this, doing that, then we can do this to bridge the gap so that the outcome will become, nearer to the communities sooner rather than later. So this is my own advice. And like we said, once we now have an understanding of what we're doing, you now see the importance of this part of the preparation or the development of the strategic catchment management plan. Any other comments or questions? Any other comments or questions? Yes?
Please, sir, this question goes to you. You are making a suggestion that all the states should have their own web-based. Then, yes. But my own question is that if this is going to be achieved, do you want to tell us that we have to go back to our SPMUs and look for the permission to do that, then incite it as an activity for it to be carried out, or it's going to be solved under this one?
The truth is this, right? This web page is for the strategic catchment management plan. Exactly. However, to give the strategic catchment management plan the requisite context, there is need for the micro catchment management plan to feature here. However, I'm aware that states are doing a lot already. They're doing a lot already. And if you're doing a lot on a lower scale, to have a micro catchment web page. Because everything you're doing may not enter here. And I give you a typical example. This is the property of FPMU. So it will be under the control of FPMU. Let's Sylvester. There's a question I have suggested, and somebody was asking a question. So I don't know whether you can now make a comment or two about that.
Going by what he said, this web GIS or web page is for the SCMP. And the owner of this very, let me call it software, as of now, as we are attending the training, is FPMU. We have activities that we're doing in the SPMU. Going by his own suggestion, are we going to be given a link from the FPMU for those activities to fit into this very web page, or state-based is they are going to create their own separately? That means if states are going to create their own different, we have to go back to our SPMU make that request and insert it into the work plan before.
This web platform will be the second web platform Acresal is creating. We have our MIS, and these tools are comprehensive enough. We are dedicating this for activities relating to micro-catchment and strategic present the web app the way it is. The terms of reference for developing these 20 strategic catchment management plans included the micro-catchment management plans. 2 of them are not independent activities or independent plans. They mainstream together. They complement themselves. So, this is a property of Acresal, not property of FPMU. So, every state will have a link to upload all the activities and all their plans and every of their catchment-related activities on this platform. So, it's as good as you owning it. The level of permission depends on whatever activity FPMU wants to do after your own upload. So it's your property. You have all the link to it.
The reason why I asked this question, Oga Sylvester, I vividly remember during the MIS training, and everybody as a GIS or MIS or MIE officer here, we attest to this. In the GIS platform, that's in the MIS system, he categorically tells us that none of the GIS officer is going to make an upload into that very system. That upload is coming directly from the FPMU and even the controls. And that was what made me ask this question. Because if this platform that is going to be created, if we have a link directly that we're going to upload our own activities into this, and don't forget we are dealing with strategic. Let me just ask a question now. The reason why I'm asking this very question, some of our activities, if you even zoom down for you to see that very activities, like afforestation of, let's assume, 100 hectares, putting it into the strategic, and any GIS officer here knows that before you're going to see that very activities reflected, you understand, or overlaid over the strategic, you have to like zoom in for you to see it. And going by what some of my colleagues are saying, that is a very lie. Maybe somebody can be able to prove it to me here, that in the MIS system, there is a place where it has been provided for GIS officer in the normal GIS platform for you to make an upload. Please, you can go ahead and do it. I want to learn.
I want to ask a question. MIS, M&E, and other GIS officers apart from Taraba, do you have access to upload your data to the MIS platform? Because it's still being developed. It's not as if you cannot develop. There is access. Very simple. Okay, fine. I think this is settled. With the MIS platform, every state has access to upload their data. It will be the same here. Okay? Let's just leave it at that.
I think we don't have to have individual website at the state level, because this is the central one. They are the ones that will control the back end. Then every state will be given roles. What you can do, if you can upload, if you can edit, whatever you can do is through those roles that the parallel will determine for each state. So there's no need for having each state to have individual web GIS. It's going to be a redundancy, having duplicate. No, there's no need for us to have. And those GIS, those websites that you are saying that state are having, they are just common websites. They are not just for showing pictures, activities, but for geospatial But geospatial, they are not relevant to us. Yes. You see, development of website, it involves back end. You have to have maybe in-house where you have a server that you can store your document, share files, or you are going to have a cloud computing like Azure and all these providers for you. You have to be paying them. So it's not an easy thing. Thank you.
Well, it's the bosses have spoken. Like I said, you people you need to familiarize yourself as best as you can with the web page. So you need to be more attentive so that whoever is giving the authorizing tools in each SPMU should know what to do as regards uploading new data, new information onto the platform. Like I said, the best thing is to, where you have your report, you should drop like a template of how to include page. Thank you.
I made a clarification, but somebody seems, CEO, I made a clarification, but somebody seems to have you said it. On this platform, would there be a link or a dashboard for the PMUs to upload their data to a certain level before a PMU will now authorize?
You see, I'm not the expert in that question, but to be honest, I envisage challenges. Because it depends on the kind of data that is to be uploaded. Like, I don't know, I am not a web GIS expert. However, our GIS expert, a web GIS expert, will be here to be able to handle those queries. I would have just simply said, for micro catchment management plans, upload your report, upload a summary table.
How would the person upload?
When he comes, that's the essence of this training.
So there will certainly be a link where you upload.
Yes.
All the documents, all the plans cannot be coming to FPMA to upload.
It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be challenging.
So you will upload from your state. FPMU will now either get it, will now verify, evaluate before we now authorize to be published.
So, any further comments? It's interesting now. Now it is becoming more interactive. Everybody now understands what is to be done. So you're finding very, very, very technical questions. Yes. We don't want private meeting. Or let us hear any query that there is. Let's hear, because these are challenges.
That's why we are asking you a question. You see, for us to have a data that is fully complete, it is the task of the state to upload into the system. It's the task of the state to upload into the system so that we can avoid missing data, or generally for the data integrity, it's the state that is supposed to upload. But the federal is the one that will give us rules if you can, so that they can control the integrity of the data instead of everybody submitting anyhow. They have to specify who is responsible for uploading.
Any more suggestions? Because this is problem solving now. It's good that the challenges are brought up. When they are brought up, then we'll be able to see how best to handle them. The most important thing is that, for me, maybe I don't know, perhaps, like I said, my Oga is coming and he will say better. I would prefer upload